Everyone, this is Diksha and welcome back once again on this channel. In this video, I'll be summarizing the concepts of Constitution of India, which is a subject, a non-credential subject in B.Tech. If you're a college student or a government exam aspirant like CDS, UPSC, NDA, and there are many other government exams as well. If you want to learn about Constitution of India, the basic fundamentals of Constitution of India, covering 4 to 5 different topics. I'm going to cover 4, 5, 6 different topics in this video, and especially if you're a B.Tech student writing this subject for your exam, then this video is specially for you. So do not skip the video and watch till the very end. So now, without any delay, let's dive into our today's topic. Yeah. So guys, now I'm diving into the first unit, which is Constitution Law, and I'm going through very basic concepts, very key concepts, particularly when you're writing for your main exams or NDA exams, CDS exams, or any government exam, or if you're a B.Tech student writing this non-credential subject, then this one is for you. And I'm having 16 important questions. I'll be showing you the 16 different important questions, and in this video I'll be teaching you, basically I'm not going to teach you, but I'm just summarizing the concepts, the lengthy concepts into a short way. Yeah, I'm having 16 questions with me, and I'll be discussing 6, 7 or 8 questions within 20 to 25 minutes. So yeah, let's go and come on. Yeah guys, these are the important questions. Basically this is going to be my question paper tomorrow. I'm not sure, I'm having 2 sets. So yeah, so let's start with the first one, which is explain the meaning of the Constitution and discuss its importance in governing a democratic nation like India. Okay, just let me copy this question. I'll go to ChatGPT, or you can use any other AI tool. You can use Perplexity as well. It is amazing tool, Perplexity. I'll paste this one. I'll ask ChatGPT, or also go to Perplexity AI and Perplexity and Control V. Let's sign out and like keep it concise. Keep as short as possible. Yeah. So explaining the meaning of Constitution. So what is Constitution? It is basically a constitution. India serves the supreme law of land, establishing the foundational principles and framework for governance in a democratic society. Which means, what is a constitution? If you're living in a country and there are some set of rules and regulation, and everybody need to follow all those fundamental duties. You have many articles, and you have different kinds of rules, different kinds of regulation, where all of these are written in a set of constitution, which is possessed by a supreme law. There are different laws, other different laws as well. So this is basically a constitution mean. And this happens only in a democratic society. It outlines the structure of government and delineates the powers and responsibilities of various branches and guarantees fundamental rights to the citizens. It is all democratic about, everybody can live their own life. There is no dictatorship. And yeah, let's just fastly move into the importance of Constitution in governing India. So first one would be the framework of governments, like a set of people become leaders, they get power, then promote some accountability to people. Yeah, that's what the framework of governments mean. Second one would be protection of rights. It's very much important to have fundamental rights, and we have 6 to 7 and 8 different fundamental rights, and especially freedom such as speech, through speech, by religion, by assembly, protecting citizens from government overreach and ensuring their participation in governments. So now protection of right is one of the best thing, and this comes under the concept of importance of Constitution. So third one would be the rule of law, and everybody knows the rule of law. Fourth one would be the promotion of democracy. Promotion of democracy is very much important because it facilitates the democratic processes through provisions of free and fair elections. We know how elections gonna change the whole state for the next 5 years, next 3 years, or next 2 years. The development of state completely depend upon the rule of law, that we are giving the authority to the superior person. Yeah. So fourth one would be promotion of democracy. Fifth one would be social justice, which means it reflects India's commitment to social justice by addressing inequalities and providing mechanisms for the upliftment of marginalized communities. Sixth one would be stability and continuity. Any leader, any politician coming into power, ruling, leading, whatever he is doing, all the things should be comes into everyone's accountability, and it should be in a stable way. It should be continuous process if the things are going right. When things are only going right, then the power or the authority or the superiority should be constant and consistent, and it should be stable every single time. Yeah, that's it all about this one. The first question, explain the meaning of constitution. You can write what constitution is, and it's all about rules and regulations that we need to follow. Then important point, like we have discussed 5 to 6 different points, the rule of law and fair elections, all this stuff you can write. So the second important would be the second one itself, discuss the fundamental rights enshrined in the Indian constitution. Why are these rights considered essential for functioning of a democracy? Okay, let me copy this one. I'll paste this one here. I'll go keep as short as possible. I'll copy even this one. I'll paste here. Yeah, copy paste. Yeah, in this answer we are discussing completely about fundamental rights itself. So why should we have a fundamental rights? Basically it tells about the shine of Indian constitution, why rights are important for any person. Like if this is a democratic country, then this person is having this amount of rights, he is having this set of rights, he can do only this much. It's not like that. You are open, you are free, and you can do anything you want to develop the country. So fundamental rights enriched the Indian constitution are essential for protecting individual liberties and ensuring justice in a democratic society. So these rights detailed in part 3 of the constitution, basically written in article 12 to 35, includes right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. So just understand, equality, equal, then freedom, everybody should get freedom. Third one is exploitation. Fourth one is freedom of religion. Fifth one would be cultural and educational rights, and sixth one would probably be constitutional remedies. You can just read all the articles. 14 to 18 is the equality, 19 to 22 is the freedom, 23 and 24 are the exploitation, 25 and 28 are the religious, 29 to 30 is educational rights, and 32 is constitutional remedies. Importance of democracy. These rights are crucial for functioning democracy as they protect the individual liberties. Second one, they promote equality to every gender, every religion, irrespective of their education, irrespective of the amount they earn. Equality is very much important while you are living in a democratic country. Then the important would be the safeguard against abuse. They provide legal recourse against arbitrary state and actions, ensuring accountability and the rule of law. Yeah. The necessity of constitutional amendments. So what does this necessity of constitutional amendment mean? So first one would probably be the flexibility. Yeah, flexibility is very much important if you're in a democratic country, because the constitution can evolve with time, addressing new challenges and incorporating progressive changes. If there is a leader who has been elected as a CM, he came into the state, he was in the state, now he is evolving with the time within the particular period of 5 years, and he is addressing the new challenges, the new toughness of the society, and he is cooperating with people for a better cause, for a progressive changes. Consistent changes makes the better tomorrow. Yeah. Second one would be reflection of democratic will, which is amendments can be made through democratic processes, reflecting the will of the people and their representatives. Then third one is the important one, which is protection of rights, which means they can enhance or clarify existing rights. Any rights which has been possessed by date till date cannot be removed easily, because it has been surpassed by many years, it has been followed by many years. You can just enhance the quality of those rights, but you cannot terminate those rights unless until they are out of the box and making harm to the people. Yeah, ensuring they remain relevant and effective in safeguarding citizens' freedom. In summary, fundamental rights form the backbone of democracy. If there is a democracy, there should be fundamental rights for any country. In India, by ensuring individual freedoms and equality. So whenever we talk about constitution, whenever we talk about democracy, whenever we talk about amendments, whenever we talk about economic growth, anything, it is directly proportional to the amount of individual freedom you're getting and the equality you're getting, and you are not getting judged by any new things that you're trying out. So these are the most important things that you need to understand and essential for maintaining the constitution's relevance and effectiveness over time. So these are the necessities of constitutional amendments, which is flexibility, reflection of democratic will, and protection of rights. So second one would be this importance in a democracy includes the protect individual libraries. Second one, it promotes equality. Third one, safeguard against abuse. Yeah. So first one, in fundamental rights, we all know it's about equality, it's about freedom, it's about exploitation, it's about also freedom and religion, education, and constitutional remedies. All these comes under the fundamental rights of this set. Yeah. And this is basically done in the fundamental enriched in Indian constitution and essential for functioning of a proper. Yeah, guys, we have discussed the top 2 questions, and third important question in this set could be discuss the various types. Yeah, let me highlight for you. Discuss the various types of amendments provided under the Article 368 of the Indian Constitution. Provide examples to illustrate their significance. I'll copy this one. I'll go to this. Yeah, I copied and paste in this. Yeah. Keep as short as possible. Don't forget to add that one, guys. Yeah. So we are learning about the Article 368. Why learning Article 368 is so important? Yeah, let's dive into this one. Article 368 of the Indian Constitution outlines the process of amending the Constitution and specifies 2 primary types of amendments. So let's see what are those 2 important types of amendments. So first one would be amendment by special majority of Parliament. Let's talk about Parliament for a while now. This requires a majority of 2/3 of members present and voting, along with more than 50% of total strength of the House. This type of amendment is used for most constitutional changes. Okay, if you want to change a particular law, or want to implement the new one, or want to just get the new amendment into the article, then there must be the probability of 50% of people in the Parliament who have been accepted that one, and the rejection of the previous one should be the 100%. Only then the amendment of the special majority of Parliament can actually bring the new one by terminating the old one. This is how it happens. So think, I want to get a new law. I'm the member of Parliament. I'm having a team of 100 people, and there are people sitting in Parliament. 1,000 people are sitting in a Parliament. At least 500 people should accept the law coming into that one, and all the 1,000 people should be ready to disclose the previous one or want to change that law. Only then this can come into the books of Indian Constitution. So the first important one within the Parliament group would be fundamental rights. Second one would be the directive principles of state policy. So the second important thing would be amendment by special majority plus ratification by states. So what does this mean? Even I don't know exactly. Okay, this applies when an amendment affects the federal structure of distribution of powers between the centers and states. It requires ratification by at least half of the state legislatures in addition to the special majority in Parliament. It includes the 73rd and 74th Amendments 1992 that enhance the power of local self-government requiring state ratification. So what does this mean? Even I didn't get this one, guys. This applies when amendment affects the federal structure. Okay, if we are implementing an amendment and if that amendment is affecting the federal structure or distribution of powers between the center or the state. Okay, when we are implementing a law or a rule which is affecting the federal structure or distributing the powers between the state and the center, then it requires ratification by at least half of the state legislatures. Okay, here also it plays the role of 50% in addition to special majority in the parliament. Yeah, 50% out of 50% out of 100, like 500 in 1000 should be the majority of votes concluding that it can be amended. It can be concluded in the amendment. Yeah. The 73rd and 74th Amendments 1992 that enhanced the power of local self-government requiring the state ratification. Talking about the significance, these amendments are significant as they ensure flexibility, they protecting the federal structure, they facilitating the democratic evolution. What else do we want? That's it, guys. You can just pause for a minute and you can, take a screenshot or you can just read it. This is the importance of Article 368. Am I correct? It's a 368. Yeah, discuss the various types of amendments provided under Article 368. So, what are articles? Amendment by special majority in the Parliament. First one would be the fundamentals. Second one would be the directive principles of state policy. And the second point, the main point would be the amendment by special majority plus ratification. So basically, Parliament and ratification comes under the concept of Article 368. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Now let's move to the next one. I feel like powers. You can write about powers and functions of Union Public Service Commission. I think most of you guys know about this one. I don't want to even talk about courts and jurisdictions. I'm very bad at this one. Court and jurisdictions, then you can. Yeah, this one is important. Examine the powers, functions and positions of President and Prime Minister India and how do their roles complement each other in a parliamentary democracy. This is the interesting one. The fight versus PM and President. Let's see. Keep as short as possible. Control C and Control V. Let's see the battle of President and Prime Minister, guys. Okay, chalo. I'll just go on reading. Just try to understand, okay? Because this is a very funny concept. Not a funny concept, but it feels like a funny concept because we see many trollings. We see, the funny reels of President or funny reels of Prime Minister. Possibly not India's, but yeah, the European presidents are very cool. Now let's get into the topic. In India's parliamentary democracy, the President and Prime Minister hold the distinct yet complementary roles. So both Prime Minister and President have their particular roles. They hold the different complementary roles. PM holds one, the other President holds one. With President serving as the ceremonial head of the state and Prime Minister acting as the head of the government. There is a state, within the state there is a government. State will be taken by President and government will be ruled by the Prime Minister. Talking about the powers and functions of a President. The ceremonial role. The President is the nominal executive and represents the unity of the nation. So, President represents the unity of nation. While holding the significant constitutional authority, most powers are exercised on the advice of Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. Easy one. Executive powers. We have talked about the fundamental concepts in the beginning itself. So, the powers, the equality and freedom comes under this concept. So, appoints the Prime Minister, other ministers, governors and key officials. The President also has the authority to declare a state of emergency. Fourth one would be legislative powers. I think social. You guys can, understand this one. Summons and prorogues parliament sessions. Gives assent to bills and can issue ordinances when parliament is not in session. Judicial powers has the power to grant pardons or commute sentences, particularly in capital punishment cases. Now let's talking about the roles of Prime Minister. First one would be the real executive authority. What is real executive authority? Which means the Prime Minister is the leader of Council of Ministers. There are a set of members sitting in a council. He is the head of all those councils. This Prime Minister holds actual executive power. He holds the executive power. This role includes formulating government policies and making key decisions while being in the government for the state. Second one would be the legislative leadership. Third one would be advisory role to the president. The Prime Minister advises president on various appointments and decisions, ensuring that executive actions align with government policies. Even Prime Minister doing his good job. Now talking about the complementary roles of PM and President. Firstly, let's talk about collaboration. The Prime Minister operates within a frame established by President's constitutional powers. For instance, while the President appoints ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister, it is the Prime Minister who leads policy making and governance. It's just a collaboration, guys. Checks and balances. The President's role as a ceremonial figures the check on executive power by recurring formal assessment for legislation and decisions made by the Prime Minister and Cabinet. This relationship ensures that while the Prime Minister governs effectively and there is a constitutional oversight mechanism in place, it's all about the balances, checks and balancing. Prime Minister checks, he tells to balance, he tells President to balance everything. So he'll just intimidate all the things to him and they together make decisions. And they get into the cabinet, sit in front of Council of Ministers, they discuss and they implement. But this is not as easy that I'm speaking. It's not that easy, guys. Only a true leader, only a people's leader can actually do this one. Let's dive into the next topic. We have discussed the first one, which is Constitution and Democracy. Second one, Fundamental Rights. And this one, President and Prime Minister. You can write sixth one. If you know the fifth one, then you can also, explain the procedure of impeachment of President of India, analyze the scope of judicial review concerning the President actions. You can even do this one. I don't want to talk about courts and jurisdictions as well right now. If you're good at watching law movies, then you can do this one. Not also UPSC. I think most of you guys know about UPSC and this Union Public Service Commission, why it is considered a key institution for a good governance in India. Let's dive into the second two. Let's check into the set 2 paper. Discuss the power of Supreme Court to review its own decisions. I think you guys can write about Supreme Court. You know about Supreme Court. Explain the process of appointment of judges to the Supreme Court of India. Explain the composition of Supreme Court and its significance in upholding. Let's continue with this one. This is the nice one. Complexity. Keep as short as possible. Okay, let's go. In India, parliamentary democracy, the President and Prime Minister have distinct but complementary roles. What is... Okay, oh, sorry, I didn't copy this one. I was checking that, like I missed somewhere. Why is it not pasting this? Now I think, keep as short as possible. We'll be seeing the appointment of judges to the Supreme Court is governed governed by Article 124. So in Article 124, it has been written that the appointment of judges, how can you appoint a judge to the Supreme Court? First one would be the appointment authority. Judges are appointed by the President of India, Supreme Court. Consultation requirement. The President consults the Chief Justice of India, CJI, and other senior judges of the Supreme Court and High Court as deemed necessary. I think you guys can catch up all these things. Let's talk about composition of Supreme Court. The Supreme Court currently consists of 34 judges, including the Chief Justice. Wow, 34, it's a big number. This composition allows for a robust judicial system capable of handling various cases, including constitutional matters, appeals, and advisory functions. Significance in upholding the rule of law. What does this mean? Guardian of Constitution. The Supreme Court interprets and enforces the constitutional provisions, ensuring that aligns with the fundamental rights. So even any judge who is appointed by President of India within the Supreme Court, even he need to follow the fundamental duties. Even he should understand the proper way of giving out the reality check in the court to the people, telling that point of where not to do wrong and what is the correct thing to do. So this aligns with all the fundamental rights. He can be only done when he can interact with people and enforces his team to do with everyone, with every single person. Yeah. Second one would be the judicial review. It has the power to review legislation, executive actions, maintaining checks and balances with the government. So second one would be protection of rights. The court safeguards citizens' rights against the arbitrary state actions and reinforcing the rule of law. That's it. Examine the provisions for declaration, national, state, and financial emergencies. Discuss their grounds and suspension of rights, and this one as well. No finances. I don't feel like set 2 is that important, guys. Analyze the concept of judicial review in the context of constitution, power of parliament, how the judiciary balance this power to protect the constitution. Explain the power and functions of a governor. Yeah, let's talk about power and functions of a governor with special emphasis on the legislative power of issuing ordinances. Discuss the constitutional checks on his power. I'm gonna copy this one, paste, and keep as short as guys. Now we are talking about the important powers and important functions of a governor. So let's talk about governor for a while now. The governor of a state in India serves the constitutional head. He serves the constitutional head of any particular region with various powers and functions. Governor having his own various powers and functions. Let's see what are those powers and functions, particularly in the legislative domain. It's a very short answer. Yeah, talking about powers and functions of a governor, first one would be the legislative powers itself. Within that, assent to bills. The governor can give assent, withhold assent, or reserve a bill for the president's consideration under Article 200. If a bill is returned for reconsideration and passed again, the governor must give an assent. So any powers, talking about any powers, the assent to bills, and this one, second one would be promulgation of ordinances. Under the Article 213, the governor can issue the ordinances when the state legislature is not in session. The ordinances have the same force as laws but must be approved by the legislation within 6 weeks of reassembly. Guys, just I want to take a minute and understand what is this ordinances. If you're having an article which is 213, the governor can issue the ordinances when the state legislature, okay, basically when the state legislature is not in the session or not into the matter, then directly governor can issue any ordinances, can implement or try to change any old things into the new one, the old laws turning into the new one, or any ordinances, basically the small changes, and these ordinances have the same force or laws, like it considers the same as old power and can be approved into the legislature within the 6 weeks of reassembly. After implementing and continued for the 6 months, then this can be actually implemented by terminating the old one. Or even if this one has been the advanced level of the previous version, then both of them can be into the market, can help people. Yeah, this is the power of governor. Even I want to become a governor back then in my schooling, but no, not now. Second one would be executive powers. Appoints chief minister and other ministers, oversees the administration and ensures law and order in the state. This one, the second side heading would be constitutional checks on legislative power. So first one would be the time limit for assent, second one would be the judicial review, third one would be the reservation for presidential consideration. Let's talk about this presidential consideration. So the governor must receive bills that threaten the position of High Court or offer national importance for presidential review, adding an additional layer of oversight. As this governor can issue or can take into consideration of CM or any other big leaders, he should be able to reserve bills that threaten the position of High Court or are of national importance for presidential review, adding an additional layer for oversight. Basically, he needs to govern the people, look after people. Any threats are coming to anyone, he should be the first guy standing with his team, and either it's a very small case, either it's a very long case, or any threatening case, these guys, the presidential consideration of governor comes into the picture and closes the game. This is the amazing answer as well. Guys, I'm literally tired today. I'm drained, but still I'm trying to do this video because I want to do this one. Shall we talk about NTI Ayog in terms of structures, objective and approach to planning? How has shift impacted? No.